In today's video, I'm going to share with you a really simple tip to help you maintain your posture on the downswing, stopping what we call early extension, our body moving towards the golf ball. If this relates to you, make sure you check this video out. Jon Watts here from the TruGolf Academy. You've joined me out on the tee. And what we're going to discuss today is actually early extension, or reducing early extension, which is where the player's posture is being lost on the downswing. Their hips are moving towards the ball. And what I generally see when the player's hips are moving towards the ball is their pressure going to the toes. Now, they might try and compensate for that with their head coming backwards into impact, but what I'm going to share with you is a real simple drill that you could do on the practice area of the driving range, just using another club underneath your feet to help you feel like you're maintaining where your pressure is and therefore maintaining posture. So I'm going to lie another club on the ground and I'm just going to place it under the balls of my feet. So I'm going to stand on the club here and it's through about the balls of my feet. If my hips are going towards the target, my pressure is going to the toes, it's enough just to start to throw me off balance. So what I'm trying to feel on the downswing to keep my posture is that I keep my backside out, some hip depth, to keep my pressure feeling like it is more even. So I like the pressure to move to the middle of the trail foot, that's my right side here on the backswing, towards the middle of my lead side on the downswing, and then more into my lead heel. So I wouldn't really want to see my pressure going into the toes. There are a few good players, you know, you look at Justin Thomas, especially with the drive, he is definitely onto toes into impact, but he still manages to keep some hip depth there to stop him really losing all his balance forwards. With so many golfers, they're early extending, their pressure is going to their toes and they're really struggling. They might well hit the ball out the heel unless they compensate with their head going up or the handle going up away from the golf ball. So doing some swings this way, just trying to focus on where your pressure is. If you're someone who's been losing it into the toes, you want to almost feel like you're more into the heels in the start of the downswing and more into impact here rather than losing balance going forwards. And you could quite simply on a driving range even just play around with the angle of it a little bit, but you could use a golf bag behind you where we're trying to keep your backside on the line. So I could do the two together. The clubs, so I've got the wood head covers or the woods against my backside line here, and I'm trying to just keep my backside back to help me maintain my posture and keep my pressure pretty even rather than my pressure going out to the toes that I see all too often. So again, the fault early extending is the hips going forwards towards the ball. Often that will cause heel strikes unless the player learns to compensate, which they often do. Head comes back or handle gets high and they really struggle for consistency. So just using a club on the ground, you can hit shots on the range doing that. The bag behind you can hit shots doing that. So they work really, really well. I'm going to do one of each. This is such a common fault, I would say perhaps one of the most common faults that we see. So this club here is, as I said, through about the balls of my feet, and I'm just going to feel like I maintain my balance by keeping my backside back, stopping it going forwards towards the golf ball. I have to just play around with how far it is away. I'm hitting a 3-iron here. This is a long hole. I'm hitting something I would hit off this tee. This is relevant with any golf club, doesn't matter what it is. But I'm keeping some hip depth. I'm stopping my pressure tilting forwards where I feel like I'm going to fall off this club. So, under the balls of my feet, see if I can maintain balance. Good. So I started on line, just hit a little cut down the right half of the fairway, took a nice kick actually back into the fairway for me. But the important thing here is, did I maintain balance? I'd always observe it on video. Simple, cheap, free apps where you can draw a line on your backside, line on your head, line through your spine angle. Can you maintain that? But that definitely gave me the feeling that I wasn't going this way. If anything, my pressure was perhaps a little bit more into the heels. And again, I could do a simple exercise just using my golf bag. Another great one for the driving range. I have to just play around with the angle a little bit. I'll just hit this off the deck rather than popping a T-peg under. Might be a little easier. So what I'm going to do here is just keep my backside on the driver really, get that feeling of right bum cheeks on the line both, and then left more into impact this way, that I'm keeping some hip depth, stopping my pelvis moving forwards towards the ball. Very common fault. So just the awareness that the bag's there, that the driver's behind me, is a good enough feel. So I struck that great, the pressure feels more into that left heel. Again, another fairway found, but importantly, I felt like I kept my hip depth, which is all I'm trying to do with this drill. So how well you hit it doesn't really matter initially when you're doing the drills, when you're doing the exercises. This is all about stopping the pelvis going forward, stopping the pressure going to the toes. Very common fault called early extending, losing posture, definitely going to affect your strike. These exercises, very simple stuff that you can work on at home or on the driving range. So if this video has helped, please hit the thumbs up. Consider subscribing to my channel as I mentioned there at the start, and I'll see you guys next time.